Right. What you say again? This one here? This one here? I'll go down the middle. I'll go after that one there, and this one here. Okay. So x is equal to the square root of 5x minus 4. The only way to get rid of a square root sign is to do what? You have to square both sides. So when you square both sides, you get x squared equals minus 4. Bring it over to your side. That's 5x plus 4. It's okay, thank you. Now, what we get next is reference number 4. And we get x minus 4, x minus 1 equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 4. And that is question 19. No, it's a standard reference number question. X squared minus 5x plus 4. No, it's whatever's in the square root sign. So if you have the square root sign, it can be anything. It can be like 3 or 4 numbers long. When you square it, what remains is what was inside the square root sign. So if it was 5x minus 4, the 5x minus 4 remains unchanged. Oh. So we're going to do next is this. Question 23. In question 23, what we have is 2x minus 1 equals square root of 8x plus 1. How do you get rid of the square root sign again? Square both sides. So once again, what's inside the square root is the 8x plus 1. When you square its square root, it remains as 8x plus 1. I got to multiply 2x minus 1 multiplied by 1. Alright, it's going to be 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 when you multiply it out. Okay, it's going to be minus 8x and then minus 1 because I brought them over to your side all in the same line. I'm then going to get 4x squared minus 12x, and the 1's cancel, don't they? What can I take out of the two of these? And what's left over? 0. What's my two answers? Okay, so x equals 3, x equals 0. Everybody alright with that? Cool. Okay. Number 27 is a step up again. Now, what I made the argument with people yesterday is this, okay? If you had 6 equals 3x, yeah? And just say for argument's sake I squared both sides. What would happen when I squared both sides? It'd be 36 equals, because you did 3x by 3x, you did 3 by 3 to get the 9, and x by x to get the x squared. Yeah? This is no different. What we're going to do for question 27 is we're going to have x plus 1, and that will equal 3 bracket x minus 1. When we square both sides, it's technically this. It's x plus 1 squared, and it's going to be all of this squared. All of that squared is 3 into x minus 1 bracket 3 root x minus 1. Yeah? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 3 against the 3 to get the 9. I'm then going to multiply x minus 1 by x minus 1, root x minus 1 by root x minus 1, which is going to get me x minus 1. For those here that are a bit confused with that, if I get root 5 and multiply it by root 5, the answer is 5. If I get root x and multiply by root x, the answer is x. Okay? So, what we're going to get next, guys, is this 9x minus 9x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's that part there. Bring it down. X squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. X minus 2, x minus 5. It's a reference number plus 10. So x will equal 2, x will equal 5. Alright, that? Okay. Now, finally, 29, which is the hardest one in the batch. Yeah, probably the hardest one in the batch, right? It has a lot of stuff going on with it. So, first thing I might suggest is this 3x minus 1 over x squared plus 1. Does anybody remember how to square out a fraction? As an example, if I said 3 over x equals 9, and I squared both sides, what would happen? What happens if I squared both sides? So it'd be technically 3 squared over, because it works on both of them, doesn't it? Because it'd be 3 minus x, 3 over x multiplied by 3 over x, which is 3 squared and x squared, right? So taking that knowledge from a simpler question, we're now going to apply it to a more difficult question. This is a fraction. We're going to square it. We're going to square square root. What happens when you square root 8? Get 8, because root 8 by root 8 is 8. That's the easy part. Now, what do you have to do with the top number? Anybody remember? Square it out. Yep, you're right. Just one step ahead, though. And what about the bottom number? What happens when you square square root? What happens when you have this here? The square root cancels with the square, just leaving x squared plus 1. Okay. Immediate problem is they don't have the same denominator. Would you agree with that? So, put an x squared plus 1 on the bottom. Put an x squared plus 1 on the top. Cancel the denominators. Square out the left side and multiply out the right hand side. We're going to get ax squared plus 8. And on this side you're going to get it's 3x minus 1 multiplied by, which is 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. That's when you multiply it out successfully. Okay? Move it all to one side. It's going to be minus 8x squared, isn't it? Which is 1x squared. The 8 comes over and comes a minus 8, which gives me minus 7. So you're going to get x minus 7. X plus 1 equals 0. X equals 7. X equals minus 1. Okay, guys.